Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Euphoric Consciousness. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how you've been programmed since birth. That we've been raised in a society that teaches us subconsciously to act, walk, to feel a certain way through school, through media, entertainment, sports, literally everything. And obviously, some are more serious than others, but generally in the entirety of our lives we have been programmed to act a certain way and to think a certain way and not really think for ourselves, which unfortunately is a problem, and it's keeping a lot of us in a suppressed state of mind, which is not the goal of life, obviously, as I think, and I'm sure you would think as well. But before we dive into it, I know it's a really hard concept to understand, or even understanding that idea is hard to grasp, because when I first realized it, I argued it, obviously, I was against it. I didn't want to believe it. I was like, there's no way that or at least the countries that I'm in, the United States, the country that I'm in, it's supposed to be the best country in the world. It's supposed to be the most free country. Obviously, most of my viewers are from the United States anyway, so obviously you guys are fully aware of the United States and America, fuck yeah, all that shit, So it was really hard for me to adjust to this new reality that I brought into myself. And I encourage you just to have an open heart and open mind and think critically. Don't listen to me. Do your own research. That's all I'm gonna say is, I got a lot of this information from my own research. I mean, obviously, I saw other videos, and that gave me inspiration, or not inspiration. That gave me a tip off or whatever. But I took another step. I researched it and I dove deep into the concept or the idea, and more specifically into being programmed. So, like I said, just have an open mind and really just try to think critically, like I said, just because I know it's a huge thing to have to realize that basically since we were born, everything we've known has been a way to program us to keep us as in the working class, or to keep us from finding our purpose in life, to keep us in a 9-to-5 job, to keep things individualized. And what I mean by that is to not think this country and more or less the world has a problem with not having a kind heart or a heart to help others, and that's a problem. Nothing is going to change in this world if we're all just figuring out things for ourselves, or ways to benefit ourselves in our life, because ultimately if we're going to help everyone else in life, don't you think that more will come back to you in the end? And I'm working on tithing, giving out to people. Shout out to Liv. She texted me, or she sent me a video this morning telling how she gives 10% to a person that she feels called to give to. And I really like that, and I look up to that, and I respect that, and I want to be someone to do that too, because I have an abundant amount of resources that many people don't have, and I know you have an abundant amount of resources that you don't need. So I think as a collective we need to do a better job of sharing our abundance with the world, just generally helping each other out, uplifting each other, not tearing each other down. But ultimately, I mean, I think we have such a hard time with being more open, is just because of being programmed. A lot of what society entails for us is to stay consistent with being not alone, just more that I need to take care of myself and myself only, which is true, which you should do, but to take care of myself and myself only, to only make sure that I am prospering, not the person next to me, not my family members, and just generally being toxic, being insecure about themselves. So they have to go hate on the internet. Like, literally can't go on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and there's always a shitty comment. Always. Like, what is that? Like, are we as human beings so naive or just dumb, just straight up dumb, to the point where we can't find a mutual agreement as humans that we all have our own flaws, that we all do our own thing, and some things might look silly, some things might look aggressive, but what does it matter? Why should you have an opinion on what that person does in their life? But unfortunately, we've been raised in a society where negativity is everything, which is awful, it's really unfortunate. And like I was saying, I think that stems from just society, and more specifically like media, entertainment, whether you realize it or not, especially with media, like with the whole BLM. And I had 3 siblings. One of my siblings, Naomi, she died last May 19th. But Naomi, Zoe, and Bill all came from Liberia, so I have 3 black siblings. I can't be racist. So if any of you get upset by this, I'm sorry. I really don't care. I mean, I've done the time, I've done the research to see, and I'm not saying there isn't racism out there, because I've seen it firsthand. Like, my brother, he was at a football game, and literally the entire opposing side were like calling him a nigger, telling him to like hit his balls and stuff. And this 45-year-old mom came out at the end of the game, came out to him. She's like, get the fuck out of here, you nigger. Straight to his face. My dad was right there. Oh, she looked at him. He just, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have said that. She walked right away. It was so funny. But it's like, I've seen racism firsthand. I have 3 black siblings. I'm not racist, alright? I think critically. I do my research. I look at statistics, and I read between the lines. I don't follow the bullshit. I don't follow the narrative that you see on Snapchat with Stay Tuned News. It's literally, all their news is literally black or white, like crimes, and white on black crime. They don't post anything else about other race, maybe a little bit of Asian, but the only thing they ever post is about like white racism and all that crap. And I literally, like, is there nothing else to report or to go over, or to expand everywhere? Like, why is it always the same thing, the same story? And over time, once your mind starts seeing these stories, your subconscious starts adapting this idea that there is racism and that there is systemic issues in this country and in the world specifically. But the reality is, there's really not. And what I mean by that is really not. I'm saying in the grand schemes of what they're saying, or in the narrative that they're saying, that is literally every word, every day, which it is. Yes, it is. So don't come at me. But they're taking this way out of proportion, and through all this media and news, it's causing more diversification between the people. You know, instead of reporting on the bad things, why don't they ever report on the good things that's going on in the communities? Because there is way more good than there is bad. Way more good. Might not seem like it, but that's because they don't report it. So when you have all these main media companies or whatever having these stories day in, day out, pushing it so hard, of course people are going to think that there's problems. And of course people are going to think there's problems if they don't even take this time to research themselves, to say to themselves, like, maybe there's more to this. Is there actually this? Is it really this bad? I want to take my own time to do my own research. Is police brutality that bad? Is it really that bad in the United States? And when you do the research, I mean, the research that I've done shows that the reason why there's such a high rate for black crime or police to black people is because in these communities where this violence is happening is because it's the majority of those people are black, and a lot of these black communities are full of drugs, prostitution, crimes. So of course there's going to be a higher number of black people getting arrested and having unfortunate situations. And I'm not saying that there's not situations where there has been straight up police brutality, because there has been. Of course there has. Along with anywhere else in the world. This is not a new thing. I think that back then racism was far worse than it is nowadays. Far worse. And it's just to make it seem as if nowadays racism is worse, I guess. It's dumb. And I just want people to see, like, or just to look up the statistics for themselves and see what I just said. Like, these politicians are making a narrative, and they're using these communities where there's an influx of crime, and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And that creates a problem subconsciously for people. That creates a problem for you. I mean, for me, like, I had the same problem too. Like, I was sucked into it at first, I was part of it, and then eventually I realized that it's just a way to make money through foundations. And through those foundations, money is put to good use. But if you really understand how much money is flowing through the world, economically speaking, they're not even using they're only using probably 10% of that money for. That's just a guess. I don't really know, but there's no way that if they were to use all that money and put it to good use, there would be a lot more change right now. But do you see any change? Has anything changed really? Not really. I mean, things have died down because Trump's out of office, but I mean, this isn't a political conversation really. More just about repetition through media, being programmed to think a certain way, and this kind of ties into COVID too. Like, I don't believe it. I know COVID is a thing. Yes, it is. But in the entirety, like, when you research more about, like, the subconscious mind and how predictive programming works, and how your body just adapts to what it's being told, and how your body can literally get itself sick from thinking bad things about yourself. Like, you can literally cause yourself to get cancer, or get a cold, or make yourself throw up. Like, if you force your body and make your mind think it to its full potential, it's gonna happen. So so many people probably have gotten sick from COVID because of the story that they're playing in their minds, this fear that is in their minds. It manifests inside the body, and through that it creates sickness for yourself. And especially in the older community, it's even worse because their bodies are obviously older, so they're not going to be able to protect themselves like they used to when they were younger. And that's why people are dying from COVID. Because if you look at statistics, like, I don't understand. I talk to people about it, and I tell them there's like a 98% survival rate, and they still think there's a need for a vaccine, or it's also just the same thing as really a cold for the most part, unless you have pre-existing health conditions. I know it's more serious, I do, but I have had friends who've had it who smoke quite a bit of weed, which means their lungs aren't the best, and they're fine in 2 days. I know people who have asthma who have gotten it, and if you have asthma, like, that's a serious thing to have, and especially with a respiratory disease. If you have asthma, you're not in good shape, but they are fine. So it's just a hard time to, like, especially when I hear stories about, like, people's family members dying from different causes, like motorcycle accidents or heart attacks. Why is it that their certificate says COVID? So they're pushing so hard for people to believe that COVID is like a real pandemic. And once people start adopting that feeling and that fear, it just takes root. And once you get to that point, there's no escaping it. Because if you're that far down the hole, how are you going to get out of it, Unless you have a real wake-up call, which I hope happens for a lot of you. If you're watching and if you don't believe anything I'm saying and you think I'm just speaking out of my ass, that's okay. That's all right with me. I'm used to it at this point. I've had plenty of conversations where people just smirk at me and laugh at me. That's all right. That's all right. And for a while, if I was wrong, I would have accepted it and I would have fixed I consciously would have switched it and I would have been able to assess that I was wrong and done right. But my points are proved every day again and again and again. And there's more people like me out in the world who are starting to wake up and realize that all of this is just to keep you suppressed, to keep you in a state of fear. Because also, if you don't know, banks are switching to crypto assets. Quantum financial banking system is happening right now, and COVID was part of COVID was a plan to get the quantum financial banking system in play, because during COVID they printed more money in the entire history of the United States. They printed more money than World War II. Do you understand how much money that is? That's a lot of fucking money. A lot of money. COVID has been for the elite to do their thing, to bring out the Great Reset. That's another podcast. If any of you want to hear that, drop a comment down below. I would love to talk about that. I'm also getting my brother onto this podcast, so it'd be good to have another person to conversate with. If any of you guys want to hop on too, just reach out and we'll get you on the podcast. It'll be great. But I also, so back to the podcast, obviously. I think this really started, I can't say when this programming shit started, but if any of you are aware of Rockefeller, the foundation, I forget his name, John D. Rockefeller, I think. Yeah, John D. Rockefeller. I live in the town, by the way, which makes me think some crazy shit probably went down in Woodstock, Vermont, because that's where it all happened. So I wonder what happened in my hometown. Probably some crazy stuff went down, some crazy meetings. I don't know. But he's on record for saying he doesn't want a generation of thinkers. He wants a generation of workers. Think about that for a second. What does that mean to you? Like, when I first heard that, I was thinking to myself, I was like, why would that be the case? Why would he want workers and not thinkers? And clearly he wants workers because he wants to do the thinking. And if there's no people out there, then they're not going to subconsciously and consciously raise their vibrations to make them more smart and intellectual, and thus put themselves in a position in life that will bring them more abundance and joy. And overall, to keep people controllable. He also took away the natural herbs for medicine and introduced petroleum-based drugs, which are more addictive and, I guess, cheaper. No, it's probably not cheaper. I mean, how would it be cheaper if you had natural herbal medicine that just grows all over the place? I don't know. But and someone with his influence and power to change the entire working system and the entire medical system, along with the media, because he had all three of those things, keep in mind, one person was able to control three aspects of life and completely change the way those things went out. And not to say there wasn't workers before that, but a lot of people were more intellectually sound before his time, and they were a lot more in tune with life and spirituality and whatnot. So when he brought about the new changes, that's when people just got stuck in this 9-to-5 kind of job, or this job that keeps them in a suppressed state, not allowing them to have time for themselves, for others, for the community, because they're just working all the time. The only reason why I'm able to do this right now is because I don't have any work right now. My job, there's no one coming into town. Too many workers, not enough money is being made. I'm obviously finding work, but it's hard, especially when you live in the middle of nowhere. But fuck, it's just unfortunate that we all have to be a part of something like that, and to have it continue to the present moment. In college too, like college is really like, oh, you only really need a college degree for like if you're trying to be a lawyer, doctor, law enforcement or something, government worker, not even a government worker. If you look at any successful millionaire, billionaire, they didn't go to college. They did not go to college. The majority of rich people I know, none of them went to college. Which makes you think, like, just college. I'm not saying college won't help you. I'm all for college if it's what you want to do, and if you want to spend a stupid amount of money for education you can find online, be my guest. Go waste your money. Well, I'm not going to say to waste your money, because socially it's a great experience, and I do miss that a lot, actually. But I just find it crazy that some people would spend 50 to 200 grand on a degree that I could I can earn online. Not the degree maybe, but the information. I will learn that online for free at a much faster pace, and I can apply it basically whenever I want at the start too. You go through 4 years. The first 2 years are just gen ed class, which is so dumb. I don't understand why you have to pay a stupid amount of money for classes that don't even matter, that you basically learned in high school. Like, what's the point of paying all that money for stuff you've already learned? And obviously there's stuff you haven't learned, but generally speaking, you don't need that unless that's what you want for yourself, truly want for yourself. So you go through these 4 years, and then you have debt afterwards, and after that debt, you get a 9-to-5 job, corporate job, because you've been programmed to be a worker through school, through college, and then after that, that's when you fully take control. Not you fully take control. That's when they've taken full control over you and put you right where they want you to be, right in that office chair, making you work a shitty job that you probably don't even want. Just because it might pay you good, you might like that, but ultimately, is this job actually bringing you happiness or joy? Is this truly what you want for yourself in life? Probably not. I know I would go absolutely insane, because my dreams right now are to spread positivity and to wake people up to this life, to wake people up to the reality that no one seems to understand unless you are so-called a conspiracy theorist or tinhead or whatever. Even just like consciously speaking, like most people don't even know what like conscious is or subconscious is. Like, that's what like blows my mind too, is like I've met so many people who go to college and think they're like hot shit because they know stuff, but they really don't know anything, which just makes me laugh, because these kids don't even like know anything about energy or the human brain or the human body or natural herbs that can actually bring you health. Like, what's more important? Learning about the body and life and being able to educate yourself freely, or going to a program that's going to keep you in a system where you can't really fully be your potential self? We have to pay a lot of money, being taught stuff that for the most part you don't really like. I don't know. I mean, that's just my personal take. Obviously, I mean, like I said, go to college, do whatever you want, but if you're going to college, bro, be smart and learn about yourself too. Be smart and learn about the system that you're in. Be smart and make sure that what you're doing is truly what you want to do. Because the unfortunate truth is a lot of people are going to have debt that they need to pay back for so long after college and don't even get a job, and a lot of them are unhappy. And I just don't want that for you. And personally, I think breaking away from that that mold, I guess you could say, that you need to go to college to get a degree, to get a job, to be the best thing for you. And if you do that and you realize, no, I want to go to college for this, then do it. But if not, I think breaking away from that and really thinking to yourself, like, what do I truly want for myself? What have I been told? What have I been taught to make me feel like I need to do something, rather than thinking for myself and asking myself, what is it that I want in life? What is it that I want to fulfill? What is my purpose? How do I figure out my purpose? And how do I change the world for the better? This blows my mind that it goes so far. And what I mean by it goes so far is just how far these people are pushing you to stay in such a negative state, to keep you from being a thinker. It just makes me sad to know that there are people in this world who don't want other people to succeed or to be consciously awake, to keep people on autopilot instead of actually piloting the plane. Like, what happened to you as a kid, or what happened to you as an adult to make you switch like that, to not bring joy to the world, to not make it a better place? Because ultimately, if it's a better place, then you're going to get more in return. I'll get more in return if I spread positivity and give out to people. I'm going to get more in return. Anyone will get more in return if they do that. So it just sucks that we have to have these powerful people control our everyday life, because the unfortunate truth is we are nothing compared to these people. And I pretty much referenced these people in every single one of my podcasts so far, because it relates to all of that. It relates to them. Obviously not everything. I mean, humans have their own faults, but when you have these outside forces steering people or hurdling these people in a certain area to make them act and think a certain way, it's kind of hard not to bring that into the conversation, because if they weren't there, then we probably wouldn't have a lot of the issues that we have right now. And TV shows do a great job of representing the true reality of politics and power. And whether you realize it or not, TV shows are also a way of programming and a way of showing people the reality of life right in front of your eyes, because most people aren't going to think anything of it because it's a TV show. But a lot of it is a great way of just foreshadowing the world that we live in. Maybe someday, soon, hopefully in the near future, things will change. Influentially, is that a word? I don't know if that's a word, but I just still believe there are more good people in the world than there are bad people. It's just a matter of money, really. Money equals power. I just think that we need to rise up together as a collective and strive for that change, and it starts by conversation like this. Just planting seeds in people's lives, allowing them to wake up, I guess, to the ultimate goal for me really is to make people think critically for themselves. One thing that I do myself often is to, like, if I react a certain way to a certain thing, it's because, or not because I ask myself, why am I thinking this way? What led me to believe this thing? Was there something in the past that programmed me to come out like this? And that's really helped me, because a lot of the ways I've reacted is because of my past and what happened to me, from family, from TV I've watched, believe it or not, music I've listened to, and then you start to become more conscious, like presently conscious of who you are. And once you get to that level, it feels really good. Like, it feels really good, because for a while I just felt like I was on autopilot until probably just this past year after my sister died. I think that was kind of like when I just snapped And I fully, I want to say woke up, but I just fully accepted that there are things in life that I can't control. And that I really need to be present every day. And I need to be present with myself, my emotions, and I need to be present with people around me. You never know what will happen, obviously, and being able to think freely instead of being an autopilot is just, it's worth it. So I just encourage you to start asking yourself, like, where is this coming from? I encourage you to do your research, to look up statistics, look up facts, to not just read. Also, you need to make sure, like, the sources that you think are probably valid are probably not valid. A lot of the things, or a lot of those reporters or news stations are controlled by the same companies. They all have the same narrative. New York Times, BBC News, like all those. I don't know, man. I don't know. I personally don't buy into those. I like to do my own dive into things. I also just listen to the words people say in videos. Because when you can hear and understand what someone's saying and try to figure out what's going on in their minds, instead of just listening to the story, you would be surprised on what you would actually hear. Scary, to be honest. A lot of the stuff is right in front of your eyes and you don't even notice. And that's the scary thing, 'cause it's right in front of us the whole time. It's right in front of us. Yet things don't change. Someday it will change. And I hope to be part of that change, doing my best to help people. And I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm not always going to be right about everything. I'm not. It's just impossible. But I will do my best to be correctly informed, to just help people understand better, understand anything regarding just life, just the conscious, subconscious. Like, it's so crazy how far it goes too, and it's so cool. Like, once you start understanding the mind and how it works, and pineal gland, if any of you know what that is, good job. You're on the right path. No one knows what the pineal gland is. Pineal gland is the same shape as a pine cone. The same design of our hair is the same design as some, I don't know if it's a tree trunk. Inside the tree trunk, how it spirals, I'm pretty sure. Our veins are like the roots of the trees, dude. It's all connected. Everything is connected. And the funny thing is too, is like the World Health Organization has the sign like that, like the Kundalini yoga, along with just like a target on the world. Like, it's right in front of you. They literally are keeping you from knowing those things, from knowing, I don't know, just that's the crazy thing, though. It's all crazy, but someday the collective will be together again, and there won't be any opposing sides, and life will be beautiful. Not that it's not, but it'll be unrecognizable to what we think it is, or to what we know now. And hopefully I'll be alive for that, but probably won't be. I just get so excited. and I'm getting better at controlling my thoughts. I'm just excited for you specifically too. And I want you to experience the things that I'm experiencing and the knowledge that I'm gaining and the truths that I'm being welcome to. That I just want that for you. And I want you to break away from that mold if you haven't yet, because I want you to be you and not what you've been designed to be. I want you to be able to think critically for yourself instead of think critically based off of prior programming. Because it's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling to have. And I think too, like, religiously speaking, my personal opinion is they're all man-made. I mean, obviously there are spiritual things you can't explain within religious context, but religions take away the power of yourselves, because ultimately there is no God who's going to come and protect you from war or car crash. Like, he's not coming. Or whatever it is, like, it's not coming. And I think these religions have been designed to keep us in a suppressed state, to keep us from realizing that, God is within us, ultimately. That we have all the answers in ourselves. It's not out there. It's all here, in our minds. And that is the unknown thing about life, is people are always trying to find things out in the world, search for things, but they never take the time to search in here. Why? Because we've been programmed to go out to find distractions, to keep us at all costs avoiding us, to keep going in here. And I know, it's coming off, I wouldn't say negative, but the unfortunate truth, like I've said, is just there are more people who are asleep than awake, and there are also a lot of people who are smart and talented and meant for huge things, but they just are still a little stuck, who are still caught up in the drama of life. That close, and they just need a little push to get to the finish line. So many people are like that, and I think through COVID too, I think it's caused a lot of people to reassess their lives, which is interesting. Which probably will cause trouble for the top dogs, because they don't want us waking up, they don't want us reassessing and doing things for ourselves. So I guess COVID was a blessing in disguise, even though it's ruined so many people's lives. I almost had a successful dropshipping company, but COVID came and that ruined it. A dream I've had for years. So I was affected. Maybe not as serious as some other people, but it put a huge effect on us, the world. But it also allowed me time to dive deep, to take the time to research, to break away from the mold, to break away from the programming, to break away from the lies, and for once to count on myself, to believe in myself, to know that I will be a billionaire one day. I will be a billionaire, and with that money I'm going to change the world. And if it wasn't for COVID, and obviously my sister dying played a huge role in that too, but if it wasn't for COVID, I would not be as far along as I am right now. Same with my other friends, and my brother now. Both brothers. Well, I guess all brothers. And my sister now, she's getting crystals. She was meditating on the porch the other day. People waking up. So I just encourage you to wake up. Just wake up. Start doing you. To just stop focusing on the outside world and start coming in here, this inside world. Because no one cares about you. I mean, family does, friends do. But at the end of the day, no one's going to be there for you when you need it. The only person that is there is you. So why not train yourself or build yourself up and create that person you truly want to be in the end? Not in the end, but just now. The person you want to be now. It doesn't make sense for you not. You owe that to yourself too. Like, I owe it to myself to be a billionaire, because it's probably been the biggest dream of mine. Not for personal gain too. I don't really care. I don't care about materialistic things. I literally want to live in a van, and I'm gonna be loaded, and I'm gonna have the bare minimum, because I don't need it. But at this point, I'm so confident in that too. Like, I just know it's gonna happen. I just have to go grab it. I have to go find it. I just have to go get it. And that comes through dedication and hard work. But that's also come from a long time of breaking away from the mold. And I know you can do it too. And all of us can do it. So I applaud you for making it this far. I don't know you, but I know you're doing a good job. You also need to give yourself a break if you're someone who's... It's not easy waking up to. It's a hard, it's painful process. You lose friends. People think you're nuts. People think you're... I don't know, whatever. So I understand it's hard. I do. Trust me, I do. But it's worth it. In the end. It's so worth it. Because I'd rather know about life, and I'd rather know that there is a lot of evil out there than just be ignorant to it. I mean, this will be for another podcast, but China, man, there's war coming. Some kind of war. I mean, we've already had war, like technology war. Like, you don't need to have guns and weapons to have war. You can do it through propaganda. We've already been at war with China, Russia. But things are picking up, man. Chinese troops are training in Canada. It's really worrisome, actually, if you're someone who's not ignorant to possibilities, because just United States, man, like, it's not as powerful as it once used to be, especially with Biden in office. He's fucking this country up. It's not even Biden. Biden's just a puppet, dude. Can't even speak a sentence, man. And y'all wanted him in office? Okay. Good job. So don't be someone who's gonna get caught up in that dilemma, that potential dilemma. I mean, if we do get invaded, if there are boots on the ground from China, shit, I got guns. My family got guns. We're gonna post up, unless obviously some shit tanks come up or helicopter. Fuck, we're dead, bro. Oh shit, we're dead. But I mean, just being consciously aware of potential realities that could happen could mean life or death. And I don't mean to be extra or dramatic, but it's the reality that we live in right now. Well, that's just facts. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm really liking this. I'm excited for more people to start coming in and listening. Whatever you guys want me to talk about. My brother, like I said, my brother's gonna be part of this too. It's gonna be him and I, but this is my main. I'm the CEO of this channel, so mostly will be me. But my brother's gonna be joining as well. So, and he's a great guy, super smart. We have great intellectual conversations all the time, and I think you guys are gonna really enjoy it and learn from it too. Obviously we're not the smartest people, but we do our research. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you on the next episode of Euphoric Consciousness. All right, take care, guys. Love you all. Peace.